Yeah, I've probed this pile in several different spots, and in every case it's been below the thermophilic range. In order to have maximum benefit for killing weed seeds and harmful pathogens, I'm going to need to reintroduce oxygen to this fuel source. I'm going to take it from this location and start to remove the outermost portions of this material, putting that toward the inside of this pile. But we'll get it opened up and give you a look at it. First thing I'm going to do is take this outer ring off and then move all of this material into the adjacent space. Yeah, it's still stabilized mostly in that mesophilic range, right around 120 degrees Fahrenheit. This is smelling really clean and very almost sweet and fresh, whereas some of this outer covering, it has that tinge of almost fermentation. And so that's what we want to do, is to open this up, allow oxygen to get back into this material. If you're looking to utilize this compost pile in 30 days or less, you would not want to do something like add additional fuel to it. By adding additional material to this, it's like allowing your cake to bake for 15 minutes, pulling it out, adding more batter, and then putting it back in. That's not a problem for me because I'm not utilizing any of this compost in here in 30 days or less. This compost will remain in this yard for months at a time. And that's just what works for me, the process of continually adding to a pile for a particular length of time, and then I'll move on and I'll start a new pile. And consequently, what I have is I have piles in this yard that are very old. This is about 11 months old back here. For demonstration purposes of this video, I'm turning these piles by hand, but I rarely do that in this chicken yard. I allow the chickens to do that work for me. And so once these piles come out of that thermophilic range, I'll uncover them, I'll allow the chickens to come in and start turning these piles. Most of it feels about the consistency of a damp sponge, but it's going to need additional water in order to get it through the next phase. I'm also going to be taking out a bit of this older compost and top dressing some of my trees that are in the orchard. I like to top dress them at least a couple of times a year, if not more. As you dig down, you can begin to get a sense of what it looks like in these mounds. Again, a lot of biochar, a lot of mycelium, there's worm activity, good deal of soil life, and some roots that are branching out from some of the other things that I've got planted in here. I don't want to get too carried away digging down in here, but get a sense as to the health of the soil by just reaching your hand down in. I've sought to keep this orchard space as natural and as feral as possible so I can promote as much diversity of different plant species . Serves a couple of different functions, both in adding the fertility from all of the compost that's been decomposing over the course of the last 11 months, but all this heavier woody material in the form of wood chips is going to serve as a mulch. All of the trees in this space were planted this year in 2024 from bare rootstock, and they've all undergone summer pruning at this point, bringing them down to a more manageable height. And they've already started to put on additional vigor since their summer pruning. All of the compost that these trees have been receiving has really gone a long way to helping to improve the soil. They're all very happy and doing quite well. Well, it is the next morning. Let's take a look and see what we've got. And we are back in business. About 137. And this should, over the next couple of days, continue to raise its temperature. And feeling it on the outside, it's pretty cool to the touch. Everything's being contained within the pile. And closer inspection, you can see there's a good bit of fungal development on the outside of the pile. Another really important aspect of our composting efforts is the donations we receive through the relationships we've established with local businesses. I'm on my way now to make my morning rounds, and I'll be stopping by a local delicatessen to pick up some produce that they have for us. It's mostly bread and a little bit of produce, but all of which can go to being added and incorporated into the chicken yard for the chickens to play around with, and what they don't eat will get composted down. Following day, and we are up at about 142. After the temperature in this pile falls below 130 degrees, I'll show in a future video how I bring chickens in and incorporate them to help me aerobically condition these piles. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.